Welcome to the ManXchange podcast hosted by Coach Alfonso Short. Join him each week on Saturday mornings as he engages with his guests and they discuss men leading, boys thriving, and communities winning. The conversation is underway.
Good day to everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the show today. My name is Coach Alfonso Short, and welcome to ManXchange, where we lead, thrive, and win. If you've never been familiar, if you're not familiar with my show, I want you to know that this is an environment that I've staged for men, that we can come together and more or less a community where we can be informed, we can be heard, we can be healed, we can be humble, and most of all, we can be transformed. Today, I have a special guest with me that I'd like to present to you, and I'm going to let him give us a few little small nuggets of himself in presentation. His name is Mr. Taurus Blannon. Welcome to the show today, Mr. Blannon. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Could you give us a little bit of something about yourself?
All right, my name is Taurus Blannon, 52 years old, born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, raised in Englewood, New Jersey, currently reside back in Pittsburgh. Um, I'm an author, spoken word poet. I'm an ambassador for heart health for a company called HeartMates. I'm a stroke victim survivor, and I have an artificial heart. And I speak on behalf of those that have had the same device that I have. Uh, as of last week, I currently teamed up with Damar Hamlin and Teddy Bruschi from the NFL to be part of something called the Huddle, where I go on and teach heart health to those that have had pretty serious heart conditions.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting and powerful to know. You know, just in speaking with you just a few minutes before we started our show, I felt a very humble spirit about yourself, which is great. And you mentioned that you have been married. You just got married to me, so I want to give a kudos to that and say happy marriage to you and get ready for a wonderful journey.
I
Um,
look forward to it. Thank you. Thank
yes,
you.
sir. Now
I
you
married my
mentioned
best friend.
that's great, and that's how it should be. Now you
Yeah.
mentioned your background. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have a younger brother named Quaylen. Quaylen is currently an actor. Last season, he just was on a Netflix show, a Netflix series called The Mold. And so
Okay.
now he's doing modeling and acting, and he's trying to get his foot in that game. So, yeah, I have one biological brother.
Well, I know just listening to what you said that you're a very strong brother and strong will to go through the health condition that you were dealing with, and I know that from your bio, I saw that you really went on a journey and you had to be dedicated. That you lost a tremendous amount of weight in the
Mhm.
process of, I suppose, of all of the things you were going through. And interesting now, the title of your book. Where's the title of your book?
The obese in me.
The obese in me. Now
Yeah.
that ties into that. I want you to expound on that a little bit more. Why did you decide to write it?
Because when I was going through the gastric bypass process, there were certain prerequisites that you had to meet. One of those was meeting with a psychiatrist because, believe it or not, there's a big psychological change that takes place when there's a massive amount of weight loss. I was over 550 pounds at one point. And so they want to make sure that, hey, you're going to be able to deal with what's going to come with it, both good and bad. So when I sat down with the psychiatrist, she kept asking me one question, and I was dancing around the question, not knowing how to answer it because I didn't know. She kept asking me, so how do we get here? Well, because I was obese. Yeah, but how
Mhm.
do we get here? And then finally I had to break it down where it was some trauma that took place in my life as a child that had never completely um, been healed or addressed.
Mhm.
And so I ate out of comfort. I ate to feel better. And that's when I realized, hey, this isn't just a physical thing, it's a mental, psychological thing as well. So that obese, that heaviness, that weight was what's inside me.
Yes, sir. And
Yeah.
and also interesting that you said a lot of your motivation and your, I guess, the inner power and drive um, was powered by Prince, and that's Prince the musician. I take it. And how did that come about?
Oh, as a kid, my father was a DJ, and just like the 70s and the 80s, the album covers were always fascinating. And I saw this guy on a Pegasus, and I thought it was an interesting cover. Then I listened to it, and there was a song called Bambi where he was Bambi. He was screaming real loud, and I laughed at it. And I looked at the cover. I didn't know whether this was a man or a woman. So, I was okay. Then Purple Rain came out, and just like everyone else, I jumped on the bandwagon. And so I love Purple Rain, but I wanted to go back to see what I was missing because there was this guy that was interesting looking to me. Now I know the music. Now let me go back to see what it was that I was missing. On the 1999 album, there's a song called Free. Be glad that you're free, free to change your mind, free to go anywhere, any space and time. And that kind of caught me. I was like, oh, wow. And then there's certain stories that he told that just resonated with me. Like
Yeah,
what really busted it open for me was the 1987 sign of the times. Because at that time, living in New Jersey, I'm seeing different things. I'm watching the news. I'm hearing all these stories about things he's talking about in his music. The Iran Contra thing, the spaceships blowing up, things of that nature, AIDS in the community. And around that time, I had started doing music myself. I started rapping and experimenting with instruments. And when I found out, when my father told me he played all the instruments on all his albums that he had done thus far, I was fascinated. So, I had already picked up a guitar. So I was trying to emulate Prince musically. And then, over the years, it's something that just resonated in my spirit with the things he was talking about.
yeah,
Very sexual in nature, but at the same time, very spiritual brother as well.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
going to say that Prince himself was, as you said, had this eclectic perspective about the world and life, and we probably all do some deep soul search from time to time, and feel how I wonder if anyone else thinks like me.
Yeah.
In the writing of your book, do you have any specific excerpt? I would like for you to read one excerpt that could be of some, give a little more inner you about yourself. Do you have any excerpt that you from your book that you could paraphrase, or if you have your book before you that you like to read?
Okay, this is a chapter called Black History Assignment. This is the introduction to me finding my voice as a writer. So I'm gonna paraphrase it. What happened with this chapter is that in eighth grade, my English teacher, Miss Lyles, you have those teachers in school where they're not to be played with, but at the same time, they're the cool ones. So Miss Lyles didn't play, but Miss Lyles was a sister and she had your back. She would whoop you into shape out of love. And so we had a Black History Month day where we had to do a poem. We had to write a poem. Never written anything like that before. Never done anything like that before.
Hmm.
I was assigned Martin Luther King, and so okay, I went and I made a little simplistic poem about it. Something just if I'm just off the top of my head, Martin Luther King was the man with the dream, and there was a lot of trouble and violence when he stepped on the scene. Just as simplistic as that. And simultaneously, at the same time, I wasn't a hip hop fan. I was very much into my pop music, Prince music, and all that. Now in Jersey in the '80s, that didn't really fly too much, but I was
Yeah.
always around the culture of hip hop. I
Right.
came from Inglewood, New Jersey, with Sugar Hill Gang and a whole bunch of other people came from. So it's Friday night. I'm listening to Marley Marl Rap Attack on a station called WBLS, right?
New York.
And
Yes.
so I heard I'm sitting right by the speaker, and I hear Marley Marl mixing up. He goes, mm, 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 mm. And when the beat drops, I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? It was Big Daddy Kane, ain't no half stepping, right? So at that time, we make pause tapes. So when I finally find a song again, I took that little section where it was just the instrumental and I kept looping it over and over and over again. And I practiced my poem to that rap where it was a poem, but I was rapping it to Big Daddy Kane's Ain't No Half Stepping.
So that was your
Uh,
inception into rap music.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. And
And
my English teacher, Miss Lyles, it was a Friday. It was a rare day because I think I was next to last to speak their poem. And we sat amongst ourselves. I'm sitting with my man, Deshaun Dennis, and I'm banging on the desk and I'm saying my rap to him. And Miss Lyles is like, Mr. Blannon, are you over there rapping? I'm like, no. And so she was like, yes, you was. Let me hear you. And I was like, get down, Blue. I said, I'm not a rapper. And she said, if you don't, I'm gonna tell your father. My father was the football coach for Little League and a no nonsense guy. And so that was it right there. I just, okay, I don't want my dad to know about this. So I just went ahead and I did my rap. She held me after class and she was like, you got a powerful way with words. I was like, no. She said, I want you to say that rap for the afternoon announcements. So that was, it's Friday. This person had detention. This person got this award, and just the after school announcer talking to the students about whatever. And I went on and I said that rap, and it took me from being the shy, introverted, chubby kid to being what will become one of the best MCs in my city.
that's a great journey and story that you shared. And you mentioned that you faced emotional trauma in a sense in growing up, and how did you channel those painful memories into your creative work rather than letting it weigh you down and you just kind of lose hope in everything.
That was the channeling of listen to Prince. When I listen to Prince, you get a idea, you get a picture of what masculinity is at an early age. I had a very masculine, blue collar, old school father, so I saw a masculine man. So my identity of what masculinity was based on a particular version of manhood. But I saw this version of Prince, which seemed a little bit more softer, a little more loving, a little more thought provoking. And
Yes.
so I took things from those standpoints. Now, it didn't manifest in the music that I was making, it manifested in how I carried myself as a man. Like
Hmm.
when I got my first girlfriend, how I treated women. And, there's a song from Prince, If I Was Your Girlfriend. And he talked about the aspect of he was trying very hard to be his girl's friend as well. So I was learning vicariously through Prince music on how to carry myself, at least as far as a romantic relationship. But the music that I listened to eventually that
Hmm.
channeled me and inspired me. And what was coming out of my mouth was Public Enemy, Brand Nubian, KRS-One, with the lyricism styles of Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. Like I knew just what Prince did was set me up in 1987, Sign of the Times, with the social commentary.
Yes.
It slid me into that avenue with hip hop where it was the party stuff was cool, but the brothers that was saying something, that's the avenue that I really walked down.
You kind of answered what I was leading you into another question, and it was in relevance to how Prince presented himself, at least for all we know, to public with his music expertise. Is that he constantly reinvented himself and push through boundaries. And I
Mhm.
imagine as a young man, and if you were dealing with trying to, I know as a man, you say we have an image. You're dealing with being obese, and how did your personal artistic expression allow you to break free from traditional societal expectations? Rapper or whatever you're doing in music, the presentation to the public, oh, he's a big guy, this and that. How did you break through and that was no factor in you being who you were at that time?
Well, for starters, it gave me a lot of leave alone. Like there was no pressure to be like a street guy. There was no pressure for me to be out there with the older guys on the blocks and the avenues. I wasn't permitted because not only was I into music and I was kind of geeky and nerdy, but I was also an athlete and nobody wanted no problems with my father. So, that it cleared the way for me to be in that geeky lane by itself. Now, as far as being a Prince fan is concerned, that bought me a lot of, man, you soft. You must be sweet. You like Prince, and it got me a lot of that. But I had to balance it out because I became very aggressive in football and wrestling.
Okay.
So it was like a balance there where it's like I had to prove that, yeah, I might do this, I might listen to this, I might be over here writing these poems. And at a certain point in time, I disguised my raps for poems.
Yes.
Once I fell in love with writing, where I realized that I could write, it was a lane I wasn't going to let no one take from
Right.
me.
You was
But
in
I
a
was
new world.
still trying to tap into that sensitive part of myself and maintain my masculinity.
That's great. That's wonderful. I know, just paraphrasing, because I too I love music, and Prince is someone that I listened to growing up. I'm in that era. I was born in '63, so in the '80s, when the music was transitioning from the R&B to, I'm not a hip hopper, but I appreciate all forms of music. I know that I was can recall with Prince, and paraphrasing, that on an interview or something, he said that the mind should be used for organization, thinking should be from the heart. And I listened to you speak about music, it's from the heart. And
Yeah.
it's organized in your mind from your experiences in life. And I appreciate that. So what do you how can you expand even on that paraphrase line that I just gave you, that the mind should be used for organization, thinking should come from the heart? How does that reflect with you and your perspectives of where you were then and where you are now?
When I hear that statement, it puts me in a mind state of compartmentalizing, of putting things in its proper place. Like everything that I do, there is a lead up to it. Like just getting ready for this interview today. Like I don't say that I'm shy, but since my stroke, I've I feel like I have a problem with my speech. Things don't flow the way they used to. You know, my words get jumbled sometimes. It feels like there's a misfire that's taking place. Like my mind is moving faster than what my mouth can keep up with.
Yes, sir.
So it's like I have to talk to myself, and there's a ritual that I have like before I write. and that is, and Penda will attest to this. Before I sit down and write anything, there's a song I listen to by Prince called "When We're Dancing Close and Slow." And when we're dancing close and slow, it's like a intimate exchange between my pen and my notebook.
Gotcha.
And so it's like I take that approach with everything that I do. Like, okay, you're worried about this thing right here, about how someone may see you or hear you, but nevertheless, you know you got a story. So let's put this over here, this shame, this fear. Let's prioritize this. The purpose is bigger than your fear. So that information is always there for me. I always dive back into to remember my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's to me, that's the
Yes.
organization of thought, not just thought, but feeling as well.
Well, you definitely speak clear and well, and you definitely think, out of the box, and it takes that to write anything. I know that. So, how what do you do in sharing and promoting with other men that, hey, I was on a journey of writing a book about the things in my life, getting over issues that you had, physical, emotional, and in speaking to men now, do you find them interested and want to share that they think they can write a book or they would like to be a part of something like that? And how do you talk or inspire them?
Well, most of my circle and my peers know that I'm an author. And just by, artistic uh curiosity, I guess everybody wants to see what everyone has. I have a story that you can relate to. It's not an underdog story, it's a trying to exist story. And people hear that story. I've overcome some things, child molestation early in my life, which is that thing I was talking about and I was trying to eat my way out of. I mean, there were certain things that I had to overcome and, I had to really, yeah, I had to overcome a lot. I almost went there for a second, but I'm gonna stay on. But yeah, I overcame a lot,
It's
and it
our
was a
time, brother.
story. It was a story to say, hey, look, if I could make it out of this, if I could have a different perspective, you can. And from as far as I'm concerned, it's a perspective. If I may add on a little bit, is that okay?
Yes, sir. It's your time. It's our safe place. Be yourself.
After I had my coma and I had this device placed in me. Now, this is a device, it's a pump in my heart that accesses my heart. My heart is completely dead. It doesn't work at all. But there's a pump. It's called an LVAD, which means left ventricular assistant device. It
Yes.
pumps as my heart. There's a drive line that comes out of my side with a control panel that shows how my heart functions. And I have two batteries that fuel the pump. So this device, this acts as my heart. I carry this with me at all times, and I will have this until I get a heart transplant. Now
Yes, sir.
everyone says, "Man, you're so strong. You don't look like what you've been through." And the compartmentalizing of it is not like I had a choice. I have two children. My daughter just turned 13. My son will turn 11 on Thursday. I didn't have a choice. There was no laying down. There was no, you know, oh, I can't believe this happened to me. It was not. It was
Yes.
buckle up and get it done. So whenever I go out and I speak to people about, this situation, what I've been through, it's to offer them a level of hope. And I think that's why I was chosen as an ambassador because having this device, it's not an easy thing to have. Like I can never go swimming or submerge myself in any kind of water. I
Right.
could never ride a roller coaster or anything like that. So it's not the easiest thing to deal with. You have to carry equipment with you at all times, and it takes a strong mind and a good compartmentalization
It does.
to deal with this. Because it's like, yeah, this happened to me, and I have this, but the blessing is I'm alive to be able to share my story.
Your story needs to be shared. You have you've encouraged me to keep fighting the good fight of faith, no matter what my situations are, because I can tell you this: my situations definitely are not at the level that you're dealing with, and you will have to tell everything that you just expressed and that you shared and that you just exhibited to me and to us, the audience. I wouldn't know that unless you said something. So this is really what we need to be talking and sharing so that we know we can get through things. And I listen. You say you listen to Prince, the music with that keeps you motivated, and music in general because you're in the DJ arena. Also, I know with Prince, and I'm not one who have studied him and all this, but he had a song in Dearly Beloved, I think, and really dissecting it, he was welcoming us to get through this thing called life.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the bottom line. And in getting through it, we have circles of people that can help us in whatever you're going through is also a teachable moment for those who get to know you or that in your circle. So as a father, and I don't want to hold you too long. I thank you for sharing your time today. But as a father dealing with trauma, what is your most important lesson for your kids in getting through their own heavy moments in life? And you're saying they're 11
and 11 and 13.
and 13. That's very crucial, critical times of them growing up to finding themselves now. So I know you demonstrate what they see, but what are you teaching that you at least you engage in your mind that you're laying down some things that would be a blueprint for them to work from?
Yeah, first and foremost, I established a relationship with them where they can talk to me. Someone on the outside may be listening and say, "You talk to your kids about that?" But if I don't talk to them about certain subject matters, and who will?
Right.
Everything that they're going to be outside in that world comes from inside this world. And so I teach them, especially my daughter, be your own individual self. I follow trends, I follow crowds. Listen to your heart. I mean, if it don't feel right, then don't entertain it. I try to teach them from a human standpoint of they're not just my children. I've been given these people as a blessing to guide and to navigate into adulthood and to go out here in this world that we all know is crazy. So I just try my best to be grounded with them and be open for when they come to me and say, "Hey, Dad."
Well, that's good to know because we need more men following that pathway. And I would ask, what impact do you hope that your story will have on others in the book world?
Uh, First and foremost, take care of yourself. Um, you can't do anything without your health, and a lot of our health is pretty much based around what we put in our mouths, right? Not just, all right, so that's one aspect of the physical, but what are we putting in our brains? What are we putting in our spirits? Because all that stuff manifests, regardless of how, you know, it manifests in some form or fashion. And so, with all those things, you said my inspiration of, or my, what I can show people in that world is just do it. Just do it. I
Yes.
mean, you think of, I didn't say, you know what, I'm going to write a book. Besides raps and poems, I was never a writer. I went through the gastric bypass and it was rough. It was a rough thing leading up into it. I had a bunch of delays and everything else. I said if I made it through this, because during that time I was suicidal. I was 500 something pounds. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't walk. I couldn't. I was a shell of myself. And I said, if I make it through this, I'm going to write about this. And so I just started journaling and eventually turned into a book. And so my thing is, just do it, man. Just,
That
if you feel it, just do it. It ain't got to be a whole bunch of thought behind it. I want to write a book. Well, write the book. I mean, if you say that to someone like Penda, who's very technical, the first thing she gonna say is, "Okay, so what's your log line?"
that
Or, who's your who's the good guy in the story? I'm just like, just write, get the thoughts down, get your ideas down, and then you can have someone help you shape it and form it. But just do it, just write, and that's what I
that
tell anyone. Just write.
that's how I feel also, Mr. Taurus, is that we can't keep waiting because who's going to fill that space for you? There's nobody. It's your story.
Yeah,
Nobody can tell your story better than you. Then,
yeah.
and that is what you just said is a great message for other men because we're kind of built to be quiet, have a lot on our mind, don't say anything, have a whole lot of skill and talent that other people can use, and we never share it. And we don't want it to go to waste because, like you said, we're blessed to be in this time and space. You've really shown that we serve a mighty God because the things you've gone through, many people could not handle it. That's for sure. That's for sure. And like I say, I'm very much inspired by that. If you last question, Nicole, and I want to appreciate everything you've shared so far. If you had one message to give to the younger you can whatever the glory years were for you, say 20, between 20 and 25, what would you share to yourself then you that would be a benefit even now?
That would be, now are we talking about to just the overall youth or to a man? Because I think, raising a boy and a girl, I would have two different voices for that question.
Let me hear. We want to
Okay,
know.
they're both pretty much the same, but for my son, or for boys, males, you may not know it right now, but you're more valuable than what you'll ever imagine you could be, just based on who you are, and there's a responsibility that comes along with that. You know, um, I was saying my vows, and leading up to the wedding, it was like okay, I found my person, and I found the love of my life and the person I'm going to ride the rest of the journey with. But as I'm saying the vows, I'm like, wow, like that's a responsibility, but I'm built for it. So, it was one of those type things, and it was the message would be, you're valuable. You may not know it at the time, but who you will become has the ability to change lives. Um, for my daughter, for girls, young girls, women, protect your value. Don't go falling for, you're good enough the way you are. Like, I'm not a girl, obviously, and there's certain things that I don't know and I don't understand. One of those things is hair. I don't touch that. I don't get involved. I don't deal with that. But I have to be dad. Hey dad, can I dye my hair purple? No. You know what I mean? You're beautiful the way you are. Like when she was, taking her braids out and she washed her hair and she came in with an afro thinking it was a joke or I was gonna laugh. I was like, you're beautiful. Like you should really wear your hair like that. And to letting, especially I ain't trying to differentiate, but I'm a black man, letting our sisters know that you're beautiful the way that you are. Don't let no one alter you or change you. And yeah, I hope I answered that question, at least somewhat in a way that kind of fits in with the question.
Well, yeah, you have your value system principles and experience through time in life of definitely living through your journey, that this is something that a younger person, not only you or your son or your daughter, take these things and build on them, because we have building blocks in life, and that's what we're doing. We're architects of really the next generation. It's more about that next generation than it is about ourselves. Well, Mr. Taurus, I really appreciate your time. You really touch my heart in more
Can
ways
I?
than.
I'm sorry. Can I just add one more thing that I just thought
Sure.
about this?
Yes.
Uh, in a world where we look outer so much, we've been blessed with insight, intellect, intuition, all these inner things. So I would tell anyone, look within yourself. Don't look outwards of what someone tells you you could or should be, or what your answer should be. Look within yourself and you'll find everything you need. You'll find a real truth right there.
Yes, I think that's.
Align align yourself with God and go within.
It's all from the inside out. And you said we can be, sometimes fascinated by what appears to be in a person or about someone. But again, you've shared more than I really was expecting at this time, because I've never met you. I hadn't had the opportunity to get your book and read it, but I will. Again, the name of your book,
The obese in
The,
me.
the Obese in Me. And can it be, is it on Amazon, or how can your book be purchased?
It's on Amazon paperback and Kindle digital.
Okay. And do you have a platform where people can get in contact with you?
Yes, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All my social platforms are Taurus Blannon.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Blannon. Please don't go anywhere. To my audience, I hope that you were inspired, encouraged, and really learned something about the inner self and having to drive. And really, most of all, we shouldn't be complaining about too much, because we're blessed when we get up in the day, and we should work with what we have, what we've been blessed with, and be sure that, and not what you're doing for yourself, continue to or learn or grow the heart or mature into that we're giving back to others, not just your family. That's an expectation, but what we share with the plethora of things that we've gained and learned in life, that it can be expanded out to help a lot of people, a lot of families, communities, and the entire society. So once again, this is the end of our show, ManXchange, for today. I hope that everyone really enjoyed the show, that you got the information where you can contact Mr. Taurus, and that you also go on Amazon and check the book out. It sounds like it's going to be a great read. I know I'm going to get it. Again, thank you so much. Uh, Myself, I can be contacted. Uh, Really, you can see this show on YouTube at ManXchange. Also on Linktree, Coach Short, as well as Amazon. I have books on there that you could also check out. I won't get into that because we're not trying to advertise that. But I've been blessed that since starting my show, that it has become a syndicated program, and it's with Conversations Radio, and that can be heard on Sundays at 11 a. Excuse me, Sunday evenings at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on radio. So this show, if you miss it on one day, you can see it the next day, and you can also, and that will be on conversationsradio.com. For everyone, have a great day, a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next show.